Hello everyone, welcome to the introduction to next class. We're going to work today with a PowerPoint. Yes, this PowerPoint is uploaded in the post in Google Classroom and all the activities are there. The links that you need to do are there, the questions, the guiding questions. The only thing that is not in the PowerPoint is the reading material, which is posted at the end in the same post where you will find the video. But I wanted to make the video to show you how to go about the activities. So let's get down to it. All right. So remember we said that this week will be a bit different because we are going to stop in the chronological race for events and processes. But today we're going to stop and think. Yes, we're going to start and work on some different kind of approach to history, right? Not just the events. So when we talk about history, there are many things that can mean history. Yes, we have informative texts, like what we call a divulgación, which is something, well, Thorne or Schultz are good examples of that kind of text. It doesn't mean that it's not serious history. It is, but the aim is to inform the reader about the facts with little analysis. But we have different kind of histories too. We have political history, cultural history that has nothing to do with the big culture, but is more connected to folklore or what people do. History of the ideas, economic and social history, and others. Today, I want to work with you to talk about what social history is. Social history was born in the 1960s, right? Remember that the 1960s is a decade where there is a boom of new ideas, the young generation breaking limits, and well, in this context, well, new historians also start thinking about other ways to approach history. Their object of study will be not the big events and the big battles, but rather childhood, family, gender, well, the points that you have seen, that you can see there. Because they will analyze social structure, interaction of groups, class conflict, right? So the same period of time, but with a different approach. And what they use is a bottom-up approach. That is to say, they study what happens in society. Those men whose names perhaps we don't know, those women whose stories were not told. So what they do is they research, they work with sources, they go to the sources and they do research and they paint a picture of those voices that were not heard in the history with big names. And they work a lot with other disciplines, with sociology, geography. It is very important for them to interact with those, because as we know, the history is written by the winners, the history is written by kings and important people, especially in the years before the printing press. So there's a lot to be found in other disciplines to back up and support arguments on what was life for the common people in those years. In our case, we know our period of time is the English Revolution, so we're not going beyond that. English Revolution, and I'm including interregnum here. And this is a moment, as we read, where a saying of those times was that the world was turned upside down. There was suddenly no king, new institutions, new people, people who had just come to power. Yes, this new social group, the gentry and the bourgeoisie. So everything is ripe for change, and these very tumultuous years will witness lots of tensions for power. what we're going to be working more specifically today are the radical ideas during the English Revolution. We know that the Civil War was fought by this social group, that is the bourgeoisie, and whose power had been increasing since Tudor times. We know that their power is in commerce. It will be manufactures also in the near future. But this group is now the powerful group. What was going on in other sectors of society? And those who were not the nobility and the gentry or bourgeoisie. And how far, how revolutionary were really the parliamentarians, right? Cromwell and his people. Or were there any ideas that were more radical and that were crushed? You can start guessing that there were. All right, we will work then with radical ideas in the English Revolution. So you will be watching this video. Once you are in the PowerPoint, you just click so that you can start writing there and completing the chart with the main ideas of this. There were many groups that were radical. When we say radical in English, we mean people whose ideas are different from the conservatives. And they are it's beyond, they want to break with society. They want to break things that are traditional in society because they want to change things from the roots. Radical is the adjective for roots in Spanish too. So the idea is, please take down what the historian in the video says about these three groups. There are others, but these are the ones we are going to be focusing on. Once you have these facts, you go on and you're going to do an activity specifically on the levelers. The levelers are a group within the New Model Army. We have talked about the New Model Army, so revise your notes. And you will have to give me the main, read and then take down their main ideas. What they wanted the government to be like. And then we will see if they were successful or not. Well, they weren't, so I'm going to tell you the end. They weren't successful, but it will be interesting to see how progressive and how ahead of their times they were. So all this is also facts, but all these ideas we will take over as we go along in the activities, because this class is, I have prepared it for you to be doing the activities in order, right? So here you have, this is the activity you have to do, reading the source. This is a source from the Agreement of the People. Then you, in the previous slide, you know what it is. Any doubt about this, you can Google, yes, any names or concepts that are not clear, you can Google them. But I think that I have added quite a lot of information for you to be safe and be able to develop the activities, which are very short, as you can see. So you don't have to send anything, just take down notes as we do, and we will discuss them in class. The second activity is connected to a song, yes, so you will have to connect the diggers, these people, this group from the 17th century England, with a song from the 80s by a punk singer. I like him very much. You don't have to like the music, but the lyrics are very telling, and you will have to connect it with some with the events that were going on in England in the 1980s. So what do we want here to analyze? And this is another thing that is not no facts and dates, but rather what I would like you to do with history is to see the use of history in the present. Yeah, the 1980s was the present for the singer at the time. So the uses of history. This is something interesting that I want you to think as well. In the last activity is number 3. Yes, you have the introduction to a book by Christopher Hill. Christopher Hill is a social historian. Yes, remember at the beginning, I am coming back to the beginning. we talked about social history. So he is going to write a book about radical ideas during the English Revolution, analyzing in each of the chapters the groups. There is a chapter about the levelers, a chapter about the diggers, and there it is, so that you can see the cover. Christopher Hill is the leading historian in this period that works with the civil wars. He has written other books too, especially about Cromwell. Yes, he's a Marxist historian. That is to say, we know that Marxists are interested always in the concept of class. And mainly what he says is, the English Revolution was a revolution that was a bourgeoisie revolution, where the middle classes, let's say we can call them like that, or the people who were producing wealth through commerce, got the upper hand. It was also a Puritan revolution, that is to say, in religion, we know it was pushed by the Puritan ideas mostly. But then he says that there were other revolutions inside this one, which were crushed by this group. And he mentions the diggers, the levelers, etc. So what you will have to do is to read the introduction. You're not going to read the chapters. The chapters are very well done. You have what he works with sources, so he goes into the pamphlets, into the documents of the time, and everything is very well accounted for. We're going to read the introduction. Why? Because there he says, and this is why today we are learning not only history, but also the way in which historiography works, right? That is to say, you will have to read the introduction to the book and answer these questions to start thinking about what history is. So it's an approach to a different kind of text. This is not Thorne, this is not Schultz. This is a historian explaining why he's writing, what he wants to do with the writing, and then at the end, some interesting opinions about what history should be. So at the end of the PowerPoint, of this PowerPoint that you have, you will find this link. This link, this is our warm-up for the Zoom class. We will do the same as we did last class. We will start 10 minutes later, not at 11, but at 11:10. I will let you know, so that you have these 10 minutes, first 10 minutes to watch this video. I mean, you can watch it whatever you want to, but as I know it is a lot, I have given you this short video. Will be, it is as if we were in class. Yeah, I miss a lot of the warm-ups we used to do in class, so this is a way of having the warm-up in a, well, perhaps in another way, in a virtual way. So this little video, we will start by that. You watch it. You watch it on your own. I give you these 10 minutes, and we will start at 11:10 discussing all these topics. Take down notes. The idea is discussion, right? So you have, as you see, videos, readings, a little bit of everything for next time. Well, people, I hope you find it interesting. This is a topic that I particularly love, so I hope you can profit from it. Bye-bye, have a nice week.